Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Sacred Wisdom Circle. We are back again for another conversation with you. And I want to congratulate you for finding your way here. We are linked with the golden thread, and we are lighthouses, beacons of truth, guiding the way. And through deep conversations and shared wisdom, we illuminate the path and heal through truth. So welcome, welcome, ladies. We started talking and it's like, okay, we got to hit record because we're ready to go here. So let's keep this conversation flowing. Spinning plates. Angela, tell us more about that.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, it comes with the territory of being multidimensional. And it comes, some people would maybe call it ADHD, I don't know, but there is a way that for those of us who work in many different disciplines, many different spaces, many different projects, where we can be working on three, four, five, 10 things all seemingly at once. And for me, it's come to kind of get the analogy is like we're spinning plates. So you go watch the guys in the circuses and they spin the plates and then they run and they kind of, they jiggle that little stick that the plate. I'm not describing it beautifully, but I'm sure you can see the picture in your head of that plate starting to slow down, and then they're going to run and they're going to, make it go faster again. And sometimes it feels like that. Sometimes that's what the energies feel like. And um, so for me, and it couples again also with the magpie syndrome, because okay, that's a little bit more interesting, and let's go and pursue that one because that's more interesting. And it really comes down for me. I'm learning to work with that in the sense that I can chunk my day into different parts of this multidimensionality. So instead of running around scattered all over the place all the time, I can focus on what is it that I need to be bringing in today, what are the projects I need to be working on, and how much time do I need to roughly allocate to each part. And it doesn't always work because sometimes those bits turn into, especially when it's tech involved, turn into much longer pieces of work than what was originally planned. But I guess the thing for me is that I can spin out of control with those spinning plates when I don't have a sense of focus of what are the next pieces that need to come in. And it doesn't necessarily mean that I only focus on one thing during the day at all. It just means that I've sat, particularly in quiet time in the morning, and just gently asked Source, my higher power, God, universe, whatever you wish to call it, just to come in and guide my thinking for the day. So part of the spinning plates, I'll give you an example of what's going on for me right now, is that I've been looking at platforms and which platforms I'm wanting to use going forward as far as the strategy for my business is going. And I've been looking at web platforms and community-based platforms. And now the big thing, interesting thing is this, I don't know whether you guys are doing it, but by migrating from ChatGPT into Claude. And I have 3.5 years worth of stuff sitting in ChatGPT. And now watching, all these so-called gurus and all their video chats and YouTube, and it is like, which plate do I spin now in terms of how do I get all this, migrate all this data from one portal to another? And again, it's just slow down, breathe, and just bring spirit in and just ask for the answer and let it come instead of pushing for the answer. So that's kind of, for me, the spinning plates. And Janice, I'm not sure you and Pamela, we're all going to go nodding our heads about spinning plates just before we
Oh,
started.
yes.
Yeah, you go ahead first, Pam.
All right. Spinning plates. I mean, the website is, coming together very nicely. I've started the membership program. It's the it'll be the marketing next, right? There's another plate I'm not looking into, but I've also, taken on a course. And the nice thing is at my pace with podcasting, getting things rolling there. And I know I've taken on another one as well. Like it's just there's but it's going in 10 different, it's all for the same thing, right? To get the information out there, but it's like, okay. And it's the discipline of being able to go, okay, I need to put a chunk here and a chunk there. And it's just, I love the ADHD aspect and element because we hear so much about that today. But I think that we're all have the capability to go in many different levels and different
Yep.
ways to get. So I think it's a creative brain that's kicking in for a lot of us. We hear
Yes,
it as
that's it.
ADHD, but it really is a creative brain. You can't
Yeah.
just focus on one thing. And we're breaking that construct of what we've been led to believe that, oh, you have to put all your eggs in one basket. You have to
Yep.
do focus on one thing, tunnel vision. No, then we're losing what's the word I'm looking for? It's that it's the guidance. The universe works that way, right? Like it doesn't come linear and logical all the time. So it's not
Great.
delivered in that fashion. So if we are in that box or that bubble that we were talking about earlier, we're losing the connection of source being able to guide it. And the source guiding it doesn't mean it's going to come in linear and logical. It is going to come in, it's going to be coming faceted. We are faceted beings. Things are going to come in faceted.
Yeah.
So I love it and it is exciting and I think it feels more alive energetically.
Yep.
I could focus on the chaos, but it's not chaos. It's more alive. And that's how I
Yeah.
truly feel and see it all. It's an entity of its own energetically. I'm just the
There's so
vessel.
there's so much to be said about the fact that we are multidimensional and that we're not one note. We have all these facets to ourselves. I mean,
Absolutely.
like the truth is a multifaceted jewel, so are we. And yeah, people might label it as ADHD. There's a whole lot of research, all of that stuff that's going on. I just prefer to think of myself as a multidimensional being with that's multifaceted, multi-interesting. In fact, I came across another term the other day, and that's called a polymystic, which is even more exciting. And
Polymystic. Oh, I haven't heard
polymystic.
that before. That's cool.
So I'll take that one. Polymystic.
Yeah. Well, I know Marie
And,
Forleo says multi-passionate, right?
yeah, yeah,
Multi-passionate.
yeah.
And I like that we're creatives. This is the way our brain works. And creatives, like I've got a zillion things on the go. Don't touch anything. It might look like a mess, but I know exactly where everything is, right? Yeah, and I hear you. I've got my chapter book. I just said I was in a chapter book, and that one is going. I'm writing my book, Soul Coherence. I am organizing my premium mastermind for women that's beginning in June. That's exciting. I'm also working on big paintings right now that I need to get in there and do more. And in the midst of it, I'm starting a 21-day challenge for, as we're talking about the levels of becoming. So that's starting May 31st for the first 3 weeks of June, 21 days of, a daily inspiration of moving to your next level of who you want to create from. And I'm super excited about that one. And then I decided last night I started creating a quiz to go, one of those quizzes. Where are you at? What level are you at? All these beautiful different, levels of becoming or halfway through or at the end, really at the edge of your soul led living. And so that's been fun to work with. And then in between that all, I'm doing an AI course. So I am in the Tony Robbins boot camp for AI. So I'm taking that because I really felt like I wanted to learn more about AI, what it's all about, and because it instills a lot of fear in people. So I wanted to learn more about that. And so it just every day I get up and I'm like, okay, what am I being drawn to today? Where's the passion? Where's the excitement today? And that's the way I move. So I don't, like I was saying before we came on, I don't like timelines. I don't like being pressured into, complete this chapter, complete this. Luckily, the chapter for the chapter book is almost done. We're just refining a few things and that will be off my plate. And I like to write when I desire to write when it comes through. So it's a little challenging when you start to work with publishers and editors and people that want a timeline. But yeah, I love what you guys are saying. I love what you said, Angela, too, about the different facets of a diamond, because that's who I think we are we are truly a work of art ourselves. And when we start to turn our focus inward into that piece of art that we're creating, there's a lot less pressure, there's a lot less guilt or shame, or I should be doing this, I shouldn't be doing that. I'm such a mess. I'm so disorganized. I have so many things on the go. We stop doing that and we start to go, well, look at me as a creator. Aren't I amazing?
Yeah, I'm giggling because it's not only in terms of the manifestation of the externals of all of the things that we work with, and then we do the inner work. Then we do the inner work on this aspect of ourselves, and then that aspect of ourselves, and so the inner stuff mirroring the outer stuff. And we kind of want to, we want to put ourselves in a box. No, I've spent my whole life trying to get out there, well, getting out the box, and I'm not going back into anybody else's box. But fun enough, it's this. What's the word I'm looking for? There's this dualistic nature of what we're doing, because we're doing the internal and it's manifesting in the external, and then the external changes the internal again, and then it changes. So it's this continual cycle of learning, growth. And so this beautiful dance of, and I so needed this tonight, I have to just tell you, this beautiful dance of this wonderful being that each one of us are. And embracing that in its fullness. And then there's the light and the shadows. So you can bring all those kind of configurations in, and it's all part of this wonderful dance that we live, that we engage with life. So yeah, that's the giggle was. And then there's the inner child and the teenager and all of that integration going on as well. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
And then let's add another layer that, looking at Janice, and she's thinking about how she's being possibly stretched, and I'm like, no, maybe you're the one in there now making it and helping people to look at a part of themselves that needs to be stretched, because the old constructs of business don't work in the same way anymore. So those old timelines, and that's where I know, for me, the dance with working with a web designer, life has gotten in the way on both our ends, and having the grace and the patience to say, it's okay, it'll unfold the way that it's supposed to unfold. So letting go maybe of some of those constructs or timelines for the magic to happen in a much more incredible way. And that's what I'm finding, like what my web designer has put together for me. I'm like, so like, I'm in awe. So it's a combination, and that coherence that you talk about, Janice, as well. The coherence of being aligned. It's creating a synergy and an energy that I know that it's gonna take it somewhere. I don't know where exactly that is, but you know what? That's the universe's job, and I'm okay with handing that over and knowing that I can put my imprint and my footprint into it. But it's not just about me doing it. And there's a beauty in that.
I had such an interesting conversation today with it, and she actually called me her mentor today. So kind of, I'll hold that. I'll take that on. We worked many years together in the hotel industry, and she worked with me. That awful stuff of assessing people on skills and all the stuff that straitjackets are made of. And we kind of just reconnected. God, we just reconnected over the last couple of days. She'd seen a post that I'd put out on AI, and that amplified intuition. And she wrote me a mail, and she's going, I'm so grateful that somebody else sees it so differently. So I got hold of her, and we had a long conversation today. And that alignment, it's as though it's never left. All these almost 20 years in between, when we'd worked together and connecting again today. And there's a component that's come in, which is going to allow me to migrate my web space from on the same platform, but from one space into her space, where she's already telling me she can help me with this, and she can help me with that, and she can help me with the next thing. And that alignment, I've learned through trial and error, through many mistakes, through costly mistakes as well, I have come to a point in my life where I have now chosen and I choose not to do business with people that are not in alignment with me or me with them. And that is a conscious choice that I now make today, is that if, and especially solar plexus, yeah, just underneath the rib cage, if that's going, alarm bells are ringing. No, nope, 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 not happening. And those are the kinds of, this is where we start to also reclaim our own sense of agency and self-sovereignty by being clear around what it is that we will and won't allow, what it is that we will and won't engage in. And so that for me has become, we talk about the lighthouse being the lighthouse. What about the internal lighthouse that's actually kind of glowing and going, nope, we're not going down there. That's not comfortable, not happening.
So true.
So,
That is a big, I love that topic because, it doesn't matter where we are at. We've had experiences in the past that have enlightened us to the fact that, oops, that was the wrong path to take, and we don't want to do that again. But it's not about, out of fear or caution. It's more like you're saying, Angela, like allowing that light to continue to grow and be expansive. When we get into the relationship with the wrong person for whatever reason, business or otherwise, and we feel that constriction, that is definitely something to, and I'm speaking to myself right now, that's definitely something to be aware of and take some time to contemplate. It doesn't mean that you have to break up the relationship necessarily, but you need to be looking at it clearly and with awareness, because maybe your boundaries aren't very clear, and maybe this is a way for you to step into creating those clear boundaries and saying, okay, no, this is how I work. This is what lights me up. And then the other person might be like, oh, okay, no problem. Just let me know when you're ready. Um, or they might be, yeah, that doesn't work for me. And then it's time to separate. But that's a very tender place to be too.
and that's
Absolutely.
there's another thing for me that's come out of this as well, is that we're not all joined at the hip forever and after.
Mhm.
There's that whole thing around season, reason, or reason, season, and a lifetime is very true very often, is
Mhm.
that there's certain points of where we come together and certain points of departure. And I'm sure you've had the same experience where we've come to, like this connection that I had with Kim today. We've been together like this, and then the synergy has been incredible. And then all of a sudden, life's taken us on a different path, and then we come back again together, and then there's another path that goes. So it's about reading. I don't even know if it's discernment, but it's about really reading where we are at, where people are at, and being able to do that dance of matching. There's a match and there's a mismatch, and sometimes the mismatch is only about timing and nothing else. That it's just the wrong time. And
Yeah.
so it's about, for me, it's like being fluid. It's like being like water and being in that flow of allowing, of connecting, of engaging, of disconnecting when we need to as well. Sometimes we also need to step back from people because they've got certain things to learn, or we've got certain things that we need to be learning for ourselves. And so I guess it's really just, it's almost like having our radar, the radar beep beep going on, going in terms of how we're connecting with ourselves and others.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. It's a journey of learning who we are.
Mhm.
Yeah. And
And who
accepting ourselves as we are, not trying to change and shift into morphing into what is required. I mean, that is the journey, right? Like,
No, absolutely. The not being what other people tell us we should be.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's for all facets and aspects, right?
Yeah.
the irony,
And
the irony of life, that we spend our younger years becoming what other people want us to do, and then our later years unpacking all of that, coming back to the truth of who we were when we were little. That's the
yes,
irony of life, huh?
And when you talk about that in business, like as a business owner, both of you and myself and Alana, we're all uh, business owners and entrepreneurs. The attraction, the magnetics of clients comes from us standing in our truth, from us being able to go, yeah, no, yes, no, maybe, no, right? Like being able to make those decisions from a clear heart. And the more that we are able to stand in ourselves as who we know ourselves to be and make our decisions from that space, the more people are like, oh, okay, I want to work with her. Like she seems to have it here. She's got it. She knows what she's doing, and she's clear and confident, and that attracts people. That clear confidence and that ability to make decisions and
Well,
grow.
it's an ownership, right?
Mhm. Yeah, and
It's an ownership.
it's not a I'm stuck in my ways. It's a
No.
like I'm growing and expanding. But like yeah, like you said, ownership and knowing your direction. Like when you have all these multitasking spinning plates, it's like, but I'm super clear on what I'm creating. It's all, like you said in the beginning, Pam, it's all for the same thing. It's all going in the same direction. And I'm having fun as I'm going. I'm like that acrobat spinning plates and doing leaps and flips and down the road and having so much fun. Like, and yeah, so
And
So
I'm doing
interesting.
the dance. I'm doing the dance, right, Angela? We're doing the
Yeah,
dance.
yeah. And I just find I'm in a little bit of a different space to you guys, in the sense that I'm still very much going through transition, and I'm still in this. This morning I was in my contemplation and quiet time this morning. I'm just going, how long is this going to last? Because this transition seems to be never freaking ending. Um, and at the same time, I also know that the energy of this transition is absolutely necessary. And it's about, Janet, we talk about coherence. You and I had that conversation a little while ago where coherence was coming through for both of us, in different ways, but almost simultaneously. And it was, this is all about coming back into coherence and to honor the space of transition to allow the coherence to actually happen as well is also quite important, because if we try and force it, people see through it like that.
Oh yeah.
yeah, so true.
I even with the emotional mastery membership, it's really interesting because I'm even saying I'm not chasing anybody. If they want it, I'm here, right? Like
Yeah.
because it used to be about the chase. You
Yeah.
have to go after people, that whole element of the old sales pitches, and I'm open to receiving, but I want people who want what it is that I can offer. Not a
Yeah.
matter of, oh, here I am, I got to come after you. No, like it's really changed a lot. And I think I've operated that way for even in my therapy practice. It's like I advertise through Psychology Today, but it's not something that I'm advertising. It's like if God bring the people who want what it is that I can offer. And it has been a magical journey. And so it's staying in that magic when doing the emotional mastery and when doing the sacred reset set. It's people who want what it is that I can offer in these things. And
Mm,
eventually, it's building the online program that is self-directed. And so it's exciting. It's exciting and it gives people their autonomy and their
yeah.
sovereignty,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
That's and their self-agency. And that's what I love about what we're all doing is people have choice.
Yeah.
They're not forced into anything.
Yeah. And I was writing about that this week too in my journal about the certainty, about standing in the knowing of who we are and what we offer. Because, every time you up level to the next level and you create a new program or you offer something like right now, I'm offering that premium mastermind and feeling into the amount of money that I want to charge, or it could be even feeling into the amount of visibility that you want to have. Because every time we think of more, and expanding into more, going to the next level, we also see more as more responsibility, more visibility, more risk, and we've got to unpack that a little bit and be aware that those feelings might be floating around within us and causing distortion. And so I was sitting there and thinking, okay, it's not about offering more to people. We need the information. Yes, that's great, but it is about the energetic frequency that you offer. And so, Pam, when you say I put it out there and they come, it's because you are magnetic in that energetic frequency and you're resonating at a place where people are like, I think I need that. That's what I need. Instead of having to convince them that, hey, this is what you get. This is all the stuff I'm including in it. It's more like you stand and you become the mirror to them of what is possible. You reflect to them what is possible in their lives, and they start to just see it and gravitate towards it. And there are times though when we need to help them unpack and release the resistance
Absolutely.
because they absolutely will not put themselves first, which is what we want them to do, right? Put yourself first
Yeah.
because it's not selfish, it's self-centered. It's not selfish. It's a way that you start creating more space, more time, more love, more financial abundance, everything for you. And that then gives you everything you need for everyone else. Like it just
Yeah.
ripples out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's a groundedness in it for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's not about needing to be more.
No.
It's just being where you are because you have traveled and learned and done a great journey to get where you are and to be at
Yes.
the frequency that you are at. That
And
alone.
being more,
Hmm.
yeah, being more is still rooted in ego because it's saying I'm not enough.
Yes.
Hmm. Hmm. That's right. That not enoughness.
Yeah, more, the disease of more.
Yeah, for sure. Um, what's going on, Angela, in the astrology? Do you know what's going on right now? Because
I
there's a
actually haven't looked much this week.
okay.
I've
Just
been
curious.
yeah, no, I've been well, we're still dealing with Uranus shifting to Gemini. It's still very early days. Uranus is a slow moving planet. It's going to take 8 years to move through Gemini. And so this is early days. This is around refining. And when we couple it with Mercury's energy, it's about refining communication. It's about refining the messaging that we're wanting to send out into the world. And it's also about structures that are crumbling and breaking down, whether we're talking internally, but it's all air, and Gemini is all to do with communication. So part of this and what you're saying there, Janice, is that one of the Uranian elements is that when we look at what we're communicating, we're actually communicating less and what we are saying in less is actually conveying more rather than these, God help me, perish the thought of these sales pages that are this long that you have to scroll through to try and find the price. And then you've got to go to another page and then another page before you can actually find out how much the thing costs. And all I'm going, can you please tell me right at the beginning, what is this going to
Yes.
cost me? Because
Yes.
I'm not interested. If, once I know what the value is that you're putting to this, then I'm going to explore more instead of, don't waste my time with all this nonsense. So that's also part of the,
Transparency.
mm, this is part of the way that you're talking too, and I think it's something that all of us are experiencing. There's a very different way that is emerging around how we market ourselves, and it's not the old push marketing. It's very much what you talk. It's about placement. What are we placing that is going to create that energy of attraction? And then, God help me, this is when I do say, God help me, the patience of letting go of the outcome completely.
Mhm.
And that
Yeah.
at the moment, I think I was at the back of the queue for patience, but I just pray God. I pray to God every day for some patience. And so there's a very different energy and frequency that's starting to come in. And that's very Uranian because it's breaking down the old ways of doing things, the old patterns, because that's what Uranus does. It reveals distortions. So that's the one thing. It's also very creative energy. It's also linked to the futuristic stuff, AI. But Gemini is the communicator sign, and it is air. And so, what are we wanting to give air to? That is the emerging cycle as opposed to the old cycle. So that's how you work with the Uranian Gemini energy. Um, so that's the one big transit that's happening at the moment. I know we've got a full moon, or I forget. I don't even know where I am, what day of the week I'm in. I mean, I woke up this morning going, the phone was ringing. I'm going, I don't know what day of the week it is today. And it was a regular
tomorrow.
appointment that I have a Friday. Yeah, I have a Friday morning appointment that phones me at 7 o'clock this morning. I was awake at 3, did all my journaling, had a good cry today, which was what I needed, went back to sleep, and then the phone rang and I woke up. I was so out of it. I'm going, don't even know what day of the freaking week it is. So I don't know why I've deviated on that little scenic curve. But it's the coming back into where we are and being present. And sometimes being present is I don't know whether in a new moon, full moon, wherever we are in the freaking lunar calendar. But certainly I found I've been working with the zodiac this year, the pioneering energy of Aries, the stewarding energy of Taurus, now the communicating energy of Gemini as we start to move into the Gemini sign as well. We're not there yet, we're still in Taurus. But towards the end of next week, we will be moving into the Gemini communication month or of the zodiac cycle. So my question to you is, what are you wanting to give air to? What are you wanting to communicate out into the world, to have the dandelion? We spoke about dandelion seeds, I think, last week or the week before. What dandelion seeds are you wanting to be carried on the wind in terms of the air that you're wanting to communicate out into the world? And so it's not only what, it's the how, it's the medium that you're going to be using, and it's all those aspects. So a good time to sit and think about what communication, as opposed to a marketing strategy, what communication and content strategy do you want to put out into the world?
Yes, and I think that's the communication element. I mean, if I really think about it, everything that I'm doing is about communication. It's about emotional mastery, right? Because when our emotions cloud things, we're not clearly communicating. We often don't have the clarity that we need when we're in the emotions. And so it's that element of everything and that's what I love. And I think it's actually quite interesting that you're talking about that, Angela, as far as communication and stepping into the Gemini. And it's like everything that I'm doing is exactly that. The emotional mastery is exactly that. Let's get out of our own way so that we can communicate effectively, what it is our needs are, what it is that we're wanting. And actually, what is it that we desire? Let's get out of want. Want is from a place of scarcity, right? Where desire is what's aligned. Where's the magic?
Mm-hmm. That's also what's so important about what you're saying around emotional mastery is this mastery is not shutting our emotions down, it's moving through them.
Absolutely.
And that's a key
Owning
component.
them.
So, yeah, absolutely. And in all you should have seen me this morning, in all their discomfort, all their gnarliness. Okay, we don't only have those emotions, all the euphoria of the joy as well. It's all of that. And it's about, because it's real. It's about being real. If we shut our emotions down, we lose that sense of being real and connecting to our authentic selves. And so there was no holds barred this morning. I have to just tell you, none.
The realness is where the magic is.
Yeah.
Right? Authentic, raw, and real is kind of where I've always been. Sort of ahead of the game, I guess, in some respects. And paving the way, maybe, is the best way to put it, right? That pioneering. And it's that whole element of many people are stepping into the authenticity, the realness, and kind of don't know what to do with it in their own little bubble, right? Like that's the lone wolf element that speak to as well. A lot of people are in their own little bubble. I know all of us are in that, we are in our bubble. Not everyone is where we are at,
Mhm.
right? And
You
they
know,
don't have to be,
yeah,
but we
I
are
kind of
paving the way.
picking up on a conversation that we had last week when you were talking about being out and about with people and not being able to converse with them, or having anything in common to say. I was with a friend yesterday and we were just talking about even in our families, going into our family, and I have nothing to say, very little to say. And so what I do a whole lot more of is I do a lot more listening than actually just, you know, throwing stuff in because, hello, see me, pick me. I mean, I was at lunch on Mother's Day with my daughter and son-in-law and his mom, and I felt like there was like this L shape at the table, and there was me because I had so little to actually contribute to the conversation. And it doesn't, what's important about that is the observation is it's not better than, it's not, there's no competition. It's not I'm right, they're wrong. It's just the level of, or the interests that we have are so different. And sometimes it makes it quite difficult in terms of being in social situations, like you were talking about last week, Pam. And this whole question of, I can just be the observer. For a change, I can just observe. I don't need to be in control. I don't need to be contriving anything. I can just observe. And with that, yeah, it's I felt this, I feel like I'm outside of the three of them. But baby's coming and things are going to be changing pretty soon too. I don't know why
And
again. I've got,
it's the idea of also play,
yeah,
right? We all take life so seriously. Well, bring the play in those and Janice, you really helped me kind of bring that about, in that I don't have to take it serious, right? I'm looking at particularly that incident last week where it was like two different frequencies and timelines. Well, that's the best time to be in the play. And
Yeah.
I was in the play for myself, not for anyone else. And
Yeah.
so it's being able to, magically bring that play as a child would, because a child wouldn't get caught up in the seriousness.
No.
oh, I tell you, so again, with this Mother's Day stuff. So I walked past a table. There was this cutest little girl. She'd already had braids in her hair. She was about 2 years old. She was the sweetest little thing you've ever seen. And so I kind of stopped at the table just to have a chat and just say how cute she was. My son-in-law goes, "How can you do that?" I said, "Well, she's cute. You're going to have lots of people saying that about your child." And she's just acknowledged the fact. And then there was another little girl sitting, she'd been eating ribs and she had gummy stuff
The
all around
sauce.
in her face. It was everywhere. It was in her hands. I mean, I even think that she'd got it in her hair. It was everywhere. She was having the time of her life. And so one of the other things for me when you start talking about play is we can actually just sit and watch people and observe them. And that in
Mhm.
itself brings a whole lot of lightness into the way in which we connect with the world.
Well, and I think that what happens when we get to that point where we're like, okay, we're stepping back and we're starting to observe rather than engage as much, is because we are um healing inside of us. Like we are at a point where you're not pulling me in, you're not hooking me in, and I can sit here and hold space for you to vent. And sometimes
Yeah.
that can be hard because it's repetitive. With a lot of people close to us, the conversations are repetitive, and we're just, there's a part of us that goes, "Oh my gosh, are we still here? Are we still?"
Are we listening to
But
this
but
again?
when we yeah, but when we see it as, okay, let me just give them space to get that out and then we can move on in conversation. But I also wanted to point out two things. One thing that you brought up, the dandelion, which has come up for me several times. There's this adorable little girl on Instagram that I started following, and she's I believe from Ireland. Yeah, she's from Ireland. So she's a little redhead. She's got this adorable accent, and she's talking about the Ginny Joe, which is what they call the dandelion in Ireland, the Ginny Joe. And it is so cute because she gives all these beautiful little facts about the Ginny Joe, and she's just a natural entertainer. But and I can't remember the name of her site or I would share it, but I was sharing that with people and I was just laughing and having the greatest time watching this little girl and her like the Jenny Joe. And nobody else seemed to get it. But I was having so much fun, well, passing this around to people, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, that's cute." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, doesn't it just make you want to giggle? Like it's so cute." But yeah, they were just kind of like, "Oh, okay." Um, and it just that's that playfulness, right? That I was absolutely into her playfulness. And also the dandelion, the like blowing and making wishes. And she was talking about that. You cannot pass by a Ginny Joe without making a wish. That's not possible.
So cute.
So I love that we're talking about dandelions and blowing air out. Like, what do you want to blow air into? What do you want? What do you desire? What are you focused on? Because for me, that's very much where my 21-day challenge is like, who do you want to become? What do you want to create? You're a work of art. Who are you becoming? And are you ready to step into that next stage of who you are? And and we can never stop. Like those conversations that people are having around us that are repetitive, that are about the weather, that are complaining about their work, all of that. It's like, okay, let's just step into you as a creator. What do you want? And they're the ones that'll go, what do you mean? What do I want? I don't know. Right. But there are more and more people that are waking up and that are saying, I do want more than this. I do want
Yeah.
more. I don't know how I'm going to get out of it, which is not yours to worry about. Like you said, Pam, like it's just, what do you want? Figure it out because that's number one.
What is it you truly desire?
Yeah, yeah,
What makes your heart sing?
yeah.
Yeah.
Right? It's asking those questions that go beyond just the superficial.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I love the one, what makes your heart sing?
Yeah. And most
And
people
people
are
will look at
afraid.
you like, what? Oh,
Yeah.
I don't really know. And I'm like, okay, but I don't know means I don't want to think about it. I don't want to feel it.
Yes, that's it exactly. They know what they want. They do. It's just they're
Right?
afraid to go there because
I
of
don't know
this.
people as a cop out. We're not meant to know everything. First of
Mhm.
all, who made you God? I love to say that. Who made you God? We are made in the likeness of God. So it's like put the desire out there.
Yeah. And it's about feeling safe enough to acknowledge that. What do you mean? Well, if I go there, it's just going to hurt because I don't think I can have it. And so creating the space that allows them to feel safe, that they can actually, let's just go there for a little bit. Let's just play a game, make it fun, play a game. What if? What
Yeah.
if?
And it's creating the safety for ourselves, right? It's not just necessarily hinged on someone else creating a safe space
Yeah.
because that will fall short. So I
And
really
that's
encourage
educating. Yeah.
people to step back and go, like, what do you need to feel safe? How do you need to feel safe? What can you give yourself to feel safe? So it's not hinged on the disappointment of someone else not showing up in the way you need to show up for yourself.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's so much around also abdicating responsibility, where we are putting it, our joy, our happiness in the hands of others.
Yes.
And the expectations that we have of others being responsible for our joy. No, no.
Oh, and there's going back to that intrinsic passion.
Yes.
Like I get up in the morning because I'm excited for all the things I'm creating. It's not the external rewards in any way. Like those would like quantum leap it. That would be really fun. Like who couldn't be in joy when everything else is working out too? But it's not dependent on that. I get to find the joy within me. Like you said, what makes your heart sing? Let's follow that path. and go there and not worry about permission or results or external circumstances. Let's not be dependent on that. Let's go in and explore. And
And then the world will mirror that back to us. When we
yeah.
start giving it to ourselves first, then the world can be the mirror and bring it to us and show it to us. And then we can relish in it even more. Like it's doing that dance, but it has to start with ourself first. And that is a construct that is breaking away. Those paradigms and shifts are slowly breaking away so that we can create the safety for ourselves, so that we can honor ourselves and live fully in our good, bad, and ugly. And once we embrace and own all of it, nothing can strip things away from us anymore. Like nobody can attack us with it anymore. And we don't take things personally in the same way. Yep, that's me. I have done that. I'm doing that, and I'm moving through that.
Mhm.
And there is a beauty, and that's what actually makes our light shine brighter, right? Those many faucets start to glisten. And
Yeah.
I just love seeing when people step into that light. It's
Yes.
really incredible.
And one
Yeah.
thing that I've been very observant lately is that, you know, the acknowledgement, beginning with the acknowledgement, of course, that everything has happened for you, that your underworld journey is your superpower, and beginning to feel grateful for that, stepping away from shame and blame and guilt and all of that so that you can pour more into yourself. So that is the beginning of the journey. But what if that collapse was never needed for you to be worthy of more? What if you didn't need any trauma in your background to say, but you are worthy of your desires of so much more? And I think that's a beautiful question to begin to ask yourself for people that are, you know, because I found it that I was very much like, well, because I went through all of this stuff, I'm worthy to teach. It's like, but no, that's not it. I am teaching because I am. I have a knowing in me. It's a knowing now. It's not about the story. It's fine. If you want to hear it, I'll share it, but it's where I'm standing right now. So
So the story, you're not allowing your story to define who you are.
Yeah, it's
exactly.
not an identity.
And
Yeah, it's
it's
not your
yeah,
identity. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, it's your identity right now. It's who you are, and you didn't need that collapse in order to be who you are. Because you are who you are, you're worthy because you are here.
not when you have Scorpio as a rising sign, let me tell you.
No, I do have Scorpio as a rising sign.
That's part of what the Scorpio rising sign is all about, is getting into that space of absolute, because of it's ruled by Pluto. It's all the stuff that is sitting underneath that actually needs to come to the surface and change. So yeah, there's also all those configurations. And if you don't know what your birth chart's about, um, find somebody who's reputable, who can explain to you some of the things that make sense when you know you understand your chart. So that's why I'm laughing, because Scorpio rising sign will bring about all that almost that collapse, and into the transformation that comes out as a result of that. And that's
I
just part
also,
of some of our
sorry,
life lessons. Yeah, some of us have that as a life lesson, others don't.
but I also love, Janice, that you're showing that we are not our story. And for
Yeah.
the generations after us, we're the ones that are actually unpacking all of that so they don't have to be in that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's where I believe the evolution is really, and the consciousness, the Christ consciousness, is actually going to exponentially like come into fruition. I really believe that. I think that we are the ones that have, we've had to unpack some of the things. And you're right. Why did it have to be? Why does it have to be? What if it wasn't the case? But I think it's that level of we're doing the work so the next generation doesn't
Yep.
have to be in that. So I think that that's really, really beautiful. Um, Exemplifying that. What if? What if
Yeah.
that doesn't have to fall away? that doesn't have
Yeah.
to break.
But that's where the majority of the healing is at right now, is in the forgiveness. We're stepping out of the victim. That's,
Yeah,
and we've got work to do around that yet. They're stepping out of the victim into the recognition of healing, that inner child that I don't need, or this all happened for me. I'm stronger, I'm wiser. And then the next step is, oh, what if I can just be me?
yeah,
I am me. I am here. I am knowing. I hold this empowerment within me, and I can move forward, let my gifts shine, and it has nothing to do with that story. I've left that now. It's done.
yeah,
Yeah.
It it's also, and speaking to what you were saying, Pam, it's also around, we are that transition. The generation now is the transition between the 3D and the 5D. We are the
Yeah.
transition that are breaking through the old matrix. And for some, it's an easy transition. For others, there's a lot that needs to be cleared. And each person's journey is their journey. And whatever our journeys are, is exactly what our souls have called in terms of the transmutation and transformation that we are undergoing. And like you say, Janice, we attract people into our space who have a similar, not the same, but they resonate because of what we have gone experienced, and that they're going through something similar. I mean, how many people, billions of people are there on the planet? We don't resonate with everybody, and they don't
yeah,
resonate with us. And we generally will draw in people who are seeking what it is that we have experienced and gone through ourselves, because we've paved the way, because there's the pioneering energy. And again, it just makes us having done the work a little bit earlier. That's all.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. Oh my goodness, ladies, we are running out of time here. We've kind of gone over our time a little bit. Thank you for everything that you shared here. And we just want to thank everyone for joining us here. And as this circle closes now, the light remains. And you're not just here within you, sorry, not just here, but within you also. So we would love if you would share, if you would leave your comments, share, subscribe, to help get this out to more and more people. It is free, it is enlightening for all of us, and the world needs to hear this. So please share it, and remember that you are the light and you are the way, and the circle will be here when you return. So thank
Thank
you,
you.
ladies.
Thank you, everybody.
thank you,
Namaste.
thank you, thank you.
Yes, and we'll see you next week.
Yay.
Bye for now.